Shalom, Shalum and welcome. My name is Symmanayah if you're tuning in for the first time. And these are words I'm compelled to present to those who are drawn by the Almighty Creator Yahuah, to his word that was manifest in the name of Yahusha. And I'm referencing John 6:44. This series, Letter in Spirit, is to bring to mind how it is important for us not to just lean on the scriptures alone, but to pray and seek to discern what the Spirit has to say pertaining to what is written. In other words, my brothers and sisters, this set-apart journey becomes clearer when we be prayerful when we read the scriptures, so that we can understand the life in them, so that we can get past what might appear to be contradictions if we only understood the meaning. And that comprehension is made possible correctly by discerning the Spirit of Yahusha, making it alive. 2 Corinthians 3:4-6 talks about the letter kills and how the Spirit makes alive. In this segment of Letter and Spirit, I want to talk about facing adjustments. Facing adjustments, my brothers and sisters. Let's unpack this message and see what, if anything, we can learn from it. Let us consider the value and how assembling together in fellowship helps prevent bearing false witness against a brother or sister. Do people change? Indeed, we do. If we don't have fellowship with one another, what a person did yesterday, they may have repented and changed. So let us be careful that we don't put a permanent label on a brother or sister, especially if we have no fellowship or haven't had fellowship with that brother or sister or spoken to him in a while. Let us visit this passage. First, Hebrews 10:24-25 says this, "And let us be concerned for one another in order to stir up love and good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as it is the habit of some, but encouraging, and so much more as you see the day coming near." Not forsaking the assembly. But there's some cautions, there's some precautions that we need to take. There's some things we must do, not just jump into any assembly. For some may be wicked. Some may be going through trials and tribulations that we are not ordered to get involved with. Now let's take a tour of the following. Hebrews 5:13-14 says, "For everyone partaking of milk is inexperienced in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food is for the mature, whose senses have been trained by practice to discern both good and evil." And when we discern the difference between good and evil, we have an obligation to act, to respond. Let us also consider this here. Galatians 6:1-2 says this, "Brothers, if a man is overtaken in some trespass, you, the spiritual ones, set such a one straight, and in a spirit of meekness, looking at yourself, lest you be tried too. Bear one another's burden, and so complete the Torah of Messiah." Listen here, my brothers and sisters. There are connections to what I just read, but let's continue in this passage on facing adjustments. You see, what I just read talks about changes, talks about responsibilities. And with changes come adjustments. With adjustments come modifications in our actions. And this occurs all too often as a result of discipline. So consider Revelation 3:19, where it is written, "As many as I love, I reprove and discipline, so be ardent and repent." Discipline will bring adjustments, and sometimes we may not always see or know what adjustments a brother or sister is going through or has gone through. We ourselves go through adjusting to corrections, my brothers and sisters. Let us be mindful the scriptures tell us much, and all too often we glaze over it. Just like when it comes to discipline or reproof, we don't like to hear that, some of us. But I say we should welcome it when we make a mistake, when we stumble or fall, so that we can be anew. Come with me to Proverbs chapter 3, verses 11 and 12, and I use the eSword version 11. It says, "My son, do not despise the discipline of Yahuah, and do not loathe his reproof. For whom Yahuah love, he reprove, as the father the son whom he delights in." Let us not battle against reproof, my brothers and sisters. Let us not despise or fight the discipline that comes from Abba Yahuah. And it comes through us, him working through us one towards another. What each of these passages have in common is they each present some type of change we will face during this set-apart journey. Some type of change means we will face adjustments. Adjusting how we handle things, how we speak to one another, how we treat one another. Prayerfully, as time pressed forward, we learn to treat each other better. We learn to be a stronger brother or sister for the other. Be patient and stay with me, my brothers and sisters. Come with me as I take you to 1 Corinthians 5, 1 and 2. 1 Corinthians 5, 1 and 2. It reads, "It is commonly reported that there is whoring among you, and such whoring is not even named among the nations, so as one to have his father's wife? And you have been puffed up and did not rather mourn, so that he who has done this deed be removed from among you." He goes on to say, verse 3 and 4, "For I indeed, as absent in the body, but present in spirit, have already judged the one who did this, as though I was present. In the name of our Master Yahusha Messiah, when you are gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Master Yahusha Messiah, deliver such a one to Satan for the destruction of the flesh, in order that his spirit be saved in the day of Master Yahusha. For your boasting is not good. Do you not know that a little leaven leavens the entire lump?" It says, deliver one to Satan. In other words, put him out or her out. Let them experience the fruit of their sin, and they may become physically weak, repent, and return, or they may find themselves on a discipline track that leads to physical death. Yahusha, many don't like to talk about that verse, delivering one to Satan, not realizing if we allow compromising spirits to be in fellowship with us, it leavens the whole lump, and the body becomes weakened. There are promises made by the Almighty Father for his children, which include not tolerating compromising behaviors. Believe it or not, each of these passages that I just presented require change, as I stated earlier. Change. And in change come adjustment, adapting to that change, demonstrating to the brother, sister, the family, the body, that such change has occurred. And in some cases, the body must face adjustments, receiving us back into the fold if we were purged from among the assembly. I want to also add 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 15 through 18. Come with me there. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 15 through 18, for it reads, "For all this is for your sake, so that favor, having spread through the many, would cause thanksgiving to overflow unto the esteem of the Almighty One." It says Elohim, but Elohim is plural, saying mighty one. So when I see that, I say Almighty One, for Yahuah is one. Therefore, we do not lose heart, but even if our outward man is perishing, the inward man is being renewed day by day. This is a change, my brothers and sisters. These are adjustments that we will face individually and collectively. He goes on to say, for this slight momentary pressure is working for us a far more exceeding an everlasting weight of esteem. We are not looking on what is seen, but what is not seen. For what is seen passed away, but what is not seen is everlasting. Change, my brothers and sisters. Adjusting to change. As end times ramp up, we will find ourselves coming away, purging, or being purged. My brothers and sisters, we run into things that cause change in our lives daily. I submit to you that sometimes we are put in a place of facing adjustments to make a difference prayerfully for the better. If we do not fellowship with one another frequently, one could possibly be unaware of any change in our life or in the life of one that we haven't spoke to over time. So let us be careful, my brothers and sisters. End times will get intense. It has already for some, and it will for others. And it's important to know that continuous change will be occurring, especially among those who are walking in obedience. Remember, one of the 10 Commandments read, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor. How many people have talked about a brother or sister and they have changed? They've repented from their actions, their teachings, their mistakes. And we think they're still out of place, and they've repented. If we keep talking about them and they've repented, we're bearing false witness. Facing adjustments can mean many things, my brothers and sisters. One such definition is facing adjustments and changing for the better. Another situation could be facing adjustments to see changes in one another. Facing adjustments. It's time, my brothers and sisters, for us to recognize the realities of this walk, to understand the dynamics of what is expected. One of the most common challenges we run into when we see individuals on both sides facing adjustments regarding doctrine is when we see individuals on both sides facing adjustments regarding doctrines, teachings. There's a lot of different translations, a lot of different interpretations. There's a lot of confusion and division among Yahusha. But the Almighty Father has promised discipline to those whom he loves. He has promised to make things right, to make us right, to refine us in ways that we may not even can imagine. And in that fulfillment of the promises he made to us, we will find ourselves facing adjustments. Some readily welcoming that adjustment. Some will battle to the end and be rebellious. All too often, we can witness stereotypes being made incorrectly with individuals bearing false witness against a brother or sister or group. I witness groups that speak generic statements about different religious groups that are incorrect. There are too many teachers who bear false witness against Christians that are facing adjustments from false teachings. In other words, there are Christians that are waking up, navigating from false teachings. And there are groups and people like to say, the Christians do this, the Christians do that. Many of us came out of the Christian false doctrines, but not everything that was in the Christians' teaching, not all that was spoken was wrong. But in their teachings was much infection, much wicked and false teachings, a lot of it. But not everything that was said was wrong. And even among Hebrews that are awakened, we see false teachings. People telling us things that are not true. But correction will come by the power and might of the Almighty Father. And in those teachings, when the truth comes, many of us will find ourselves facing adjustments. It would be wise to speak with precision, not generalization, my brothers and sisters. Let us know what we're talking about. At least we're breaking one of the commandments that we speak so highly of obeying. Yashral, Yashral, it is written in Philippians 1:9-11, how we should examine all things. Let us take heart to understand. This means continuously examining things. Let us seek to recognize what is consistent versus temporary, a temporary act, a stumble or fall. Yashral, Yashral, when we find ourselves facing adjustments, let us also be mindful that our brother and sisters may also be experiencing times of facing adjustments as well, adapting to correction and improvement, moving for the better towards the worship and obedience to the Almighty Father. Yashral, oh Yashral. Just as we look in the mirror from time to time, let us look at one another and let us examine the matter in whole. How we receive things is often based on our way of managing our perceptions. Let us develop better means for facing adjustments in our lives as well as others. During such times, remember, change is not easy, and it oftentimes requires much work to adjust to what is right and set apart, especially if we picked up a habit, a behavior, or a false teaching from someone unlearned, undiscerning, or someone struggling themselves. Be careful, Yashral. If we have not seen a brother or sister in a while, I can't say this enough, they may have faced adjustments for the better. Consider using qualifiers such as, since the last time I saw them, or the last time I saw her or him, this is what I witnessed. All too often we judge wrongly, not realizing that the discipline from Abba Yahuah may have had its place in a brother or sister's life since we last seen them or spoke to them. Be advised, my brothers and sisters, end times will bring intense moments that require us to run into facing adjustments, corrections that place ongoing pressures on us to change. And many of us will. What say you, O Yasharal? Are you talking about a brother, a sister, a community, a camp, or group? And they've changed? Rise up, my brothers and sisters. Major improvements are coming to set apart Yasharal. We will discover how facing adjustments will contribute to unity. We will learn how to embrace those adjustments. And when we overstep and make mistakes, we will learn how to rise up, repent, and seek forgiveness, turn, and be renewed in the spirit of righteousness as the Almighty Father makes it so, working in us and through us. I pray, my brothers and sisters, I pray that each viewer of this message understands that facing adjustment applies to the perfecting of our worship and obedience to the Almighty Father Yahuah. Facing adjustments is a beginning for changes and a move towards unity when we pursue righteousness, when we seek to walk in obedience. My brothers and sisters, take a moment, have a discussion, and I've mentioned this often. Discuss the matter of facing adjustments with a brother or a sister or a group. Talk about how we face adjustments coming at us and how we bring demonstration of how we face adjustments when we have been corrected. If you listen to this from beginning to end, I salute you, your patience, your pursuit of set-apartness. My prayer, oh brother and sisters, is that we discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah, sent in Yahusha's name as written in John 14:26. My prayer is that we grow in set-apartness and righteousness, and that we learn to adapt and adjust as corrections bring a more perfected, unified body. End times are here. We will discover what we need to release that causes unrighteous division and what we need to hold on to. We will understand as the Almighty Father mold and shape his children to fulfill promises that he's made. Promises such as the final Exodus that many anticipate. Promises such as the gathering of 144,000 in a great multitude. And so much more. Yashral, Yashral, I thank you for listening to this. Facing adjustments, have the discussion. If I stirred or nudged you in any way towards set-apartness, consider subscribing, share, like. Let us take advantage of this algorithm that YouTube allows us to spread things that push and nudge us closer to the Almighty Father, that helps us improve in our worship and obedience and our service one towards another. On that note, I say to you, my brother, my sister, my family, Shalum.